people don't realize, like, I'm making money from trash. Picking up people's waste. People are throwing away so many good things, not just food and paper. And when you go visit other states, we'll see like there's recycling bins everywhere. We come back here and it's like, we don't have that. So I decided to just run into it and start a business. And I realized that worms could eat waste. So like paper, food, cardboard. We do worm classes. We teach people how to use the worms to get rid of their own food waste. I like to grow in these. I like to show people how you can have a garden in anything. I think opening up your land, if you're not using it, opening up to people who need to farm or need to have a business idea, that's a great way to do it. And I realized that worms could eat waste. So like paper, food, cardboard. And we in our city don't have a lot of recycling options. So there's no one coming to house to pick up food waste, paper waste. We have one plastic recycler.
Really?
And that's it. So everything else is going to trash. So, and they do have yard waste pickup. But that's it. So that'll be composted, the yard waste will be composted at the Lafayette recycling facility. I also pick up yard waste, and then I started picking up paper waste for free. We have different drop-offs around the city. People can bring us toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, paper bags, things like that. And then food waste from grocery stores, restaurants, things like that. So they weren't having anywhere to send it. Now we have this place. So I started off in my home. Then we expanded here behind the appliance store, where we started growing herbs, food with the compost that we make from the city. Waste. And then our compost pile right here. And then we recently expanded to a 6-acre property that's also still in the city. So all of our properties are in the city. And that way we can take in a lot more waste from bigger grocery stores, more restaurants, more residents. And that's my main focus, turning waste into compost and then into food and plants.
How did you figure out that that was a problem? Like, why? What
so
happened here?
I did come across an article saying like Lafayette doesn't have a lot of recycling options. You know, our newspaper was kind of talking about it. I knew just as a resident, I've lived here my entire life. Really, my family has been here for hundreds of years as Cajun ancestry, Spanish ancestry, all that, Native a little bit. So we've been here for a while, and I really like it here. It's my home. I want to bring it into the future. And when you go visit other states, we'll see like there's recycling bins everywhere. We come back here and it's like, we don't have that. We're wasting, number one, wasting jobs, wasting money, filling up our landfills faster than ever. And I really want to make a difference in that. So now we have me, who's taken in paper and food waste. We also got a local glass recycling facility at the same time. So it's growing, you know, and that's always been my main goal. And then gardening plants has always been my passion. And the fact that I got to just bring it together was the best part.
Absolutely. It kind of comes full circle, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. So it all connects, and that's what I really like to teach people. It all connects.
So where does it start?
So it starts at
over here?
Over here. We have, my trash cans aren't here right now, but trash cans. People bring us their paper waste, drop it off here. I use the trailer to go and pick up our food waste. So my food's over there. I was actually unloading it when you got here. So I get the food off the trailer. The paper's already here for me. Yard waste is usually here, or I do pickups with the trailer. So I'm bringing it with me, or people drop it off.
How do you schedule that?
So you can go online and you can sign up for our residential pickup program. Or if you're a restaurant or a business, you email me and we make a quote, and then I pick up on designated days for you.
Very cool. So you try to make it pretty seamless and easy for people to do.
So they'll have like little trash cans in their house or in their kitchen restaurant, like little 5-gallon buckets like this is what I give them.
With like a little lid on it.
And I recycle these from a company that's inside the appliance store. They're a peanut butter factory. And so these are peanut butter buckets that they have to use their cooking. So everything we use is recycled. All of our plastics, our product bags, everything. So
do you buy those?
And we don't buy them. No, he's just giving them to us. So And he would normally be throwing them away. There would be nothing else he could do with them in this city. So this is great. So we use them, we give them to our customers in their kitchens, they fill them up with food, then they go outside.
Okay.
They dump it into a bigger trash can, like a regular trash can you would have at your house with a lid and it has wheels. Right. And then they put a little bit of compost. So we give them finished compost.
Okay.
Kind of looks like this. And then they'll layer it on top. And then that helps kind of get it started while it's sitting in the trash can. Also stops like too many bugs. We're in Louisiana, so it's constantly hot. There's bugs all the time, so that's gonna stop some of the bugs. And then pests, like rats, all that stuff. Stops coming that smell coming out, and then we switch you a new trash can once a week.
Okay.
So then you get a fresh trash can. You don't have like me leaving a nasty trash can there.
Right.
I rinse it out, I dump it in these piles. We turn them once a week.
How do you
these
turn
piles up? So I'm still here, we're still using a shovel.
Wow.
So these piles have been hand turned by me for the past couple, probably 6 months. So today we're adding food and it's kind of messy because it looks like we might have had a little raccoon in here last
Somebody got a little curious, huh?
So we're gonna add all the food I picked up on the trailer, add it to the middle pile. Then we have some greens that we have from the garden, like weeds that we picked or just old plants that are all done. Add it all together, flip it on top, and then get it to about 140 degrees.
How do you do that?
So naturally, just the amount of food that we're adding and the amount of green waste that you're adding is gonna heat it up with all the organisms and the microbes start working together. So they heat it up, and you have to get it to that amount because you're killing seeds and bacteria and germs. So that's our main thing that we wanna make sure we're doing.
Yeah.
So then at the end, we either use it in our garden, sell it to people, or use it to feed our worms.
Okay. So then you've got worms.
So yes, this is another form of composting, worm composting, vermicomposting. That's hot composting.
Okay.
So here's a basic worm bed. We start our worm beds with finished compost, leaves. We have a lot of leaves in town. We have a lot of trees, oak trees, and then papers like this, egg cartons. So I'm gonna get you a good handful and you can see.
Look at them right there. Hi, little guys.
And then here's an egg right here. So we sell worm. We do worm classes. We teach people how to use the worms to get rid of their own food waste at home instead of just throwing it. And then you can have multiple types of compost at home, multiple ways of getting rid of waste.
In that whole handful, how many worms do you think are right there?
Probably at least 50.
In like bigger than a softball.
Right.
That's awesome.
And you can see they're just laying the eggs everywhere. This is a really healthy bin. They love paper.
Look at that egg right there on that leaf. I'm gonna hold it steady for just a second and see if I can get that egg right there.
So the color is just beautiful. And these are actually Louisiana swamp worms.
Okay.
Is the nickname for them. But like they're a cross between an nightcrawler and a red worm composting worm.
Okay.
And they're very temperature tolerant, heat tolerant, water tolerant.
And you just use, I mean, this looks like a shower curtain. So
everything recycled. So shower curtain to keep it from the sun. This is just other bins. These don't have as many worms in them because I just started them.
Okay.
So this is kind of what it looks more like when it just starts. So a lot of paper.
Yeah.
And then if I reach in here deep, I should be able to get them.
Oh yeah.
Here's some.
See them right away.
So not as many though in this handful as you saw in my other
But
bed
they'll keep growing.
But they're gonna keep breeding, constantly breeding.
How do you harvest? Like how do you get the worms out of there? You just handful at a time?
Well, if I'm picking them out for someone to buy, I do pick them out.
Okay.
You know, that's what I'm at right now. But like to get the poop out, which is the vermicompost, the castings, I use this machine.
Oh.
So let me see if I can show you how it works. So we'll take, I don't have any finished really right now because it's like the end of the season.
Okay.
But basically you take like finished compost.
Okay.
And it's kind of drier than what you just saw.
Okay. And you put it in
and
here.
I'm actually getting an automated machine really soon. I just put in the order this week because, and I've been using this for 4 years, almost.
And you
5
made
years.
this yourself?
And my husband made this for me. He builds everything for me. and I use it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you scoot it in there. Let me get out of the shadow. Okay, so you scoot it in here.
Right.
You turn the wheel.
Whoa. And then you collect the castings at the bottom. And I can show you a good handful in the shed. I have a bunch that we can get a really good
Here, let me
view
see
of
if
it.
There. Whoa. That was like really easy.
Right. So it has, easy, but it took a year or 9 months to get to that.
Okay, that's a good point.
6 months over there in the hot compost.
Okay.
Then you fed it to the worms for another 6 months when you added paper, leaves, more food, and letting it sit and, age really, makes your compost a lot better compared to just using it immediately.
Right. So getting started can take some time.
Right, getting stared with
but
the
once
compost.
once
it's going, they doing the work for you, which is the best part. That's what I love, the worms. And you can do it a lot easier. If you don't want big hot compost piles, you can have a small turn.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just add this. You're adding to this for, let's say, 3 to 6 months, and then letting it sit for 3 months.
Okay.
And then you can feed that to your worms.
Okay.
Or add that to your garden. Or,
gotcha.
And then normally the worms would fall out the bottom.
Oh, they would just fall out here.
And then you reuse them to
so this
restart
is like
your bed. Right. And then the poop falls through. The wire's too small for my eggs to fall through either because I want to save my eggs.
With your worms?
With my worms.
Okay, and put them back.
And
have them do it all over again.
Beds. Or you can put them into raised beds. There's a lot of different things you can do with them.
How many people do you have buying worms?
So I can't keep up with my supply right now. I did have a pest problem at home. So I had some possums break into my shed, which is my main breeding station.
Okay.
And they really ate my worms up. So that really hurt me, but right now is a big time to add worms to your garden.
Okay.
So I asked some people if they could wait. I think I have 5 orders in waiting just right now. So hopefully they wait for me. But
what do they do with them?
And then they want the poop from them too, so they'll add them into
vermicomposting.
or they'll put them into their raised beds.
Okay.
I also normally do classes once a month.
Okay.
And then usually about 6 to 10 people come, and they go home with worm bins. And so we take a whole tour of the garden, go through backyard gardening, sustainability, how you're gonna run your worm bin, how you're gonna get your worm poop out, and then they go home with worms too. So it's a good 30 people who are
Do you charge for that?
And I charge for that.
So that's an income for your business?
Yes.
Okay. But they get worms at
selling
the
the worms, to do the class, selling the poop, all that goes towards my income. Then plus now that we have this garden, we're doing the fresh organic veggies and herbs, which we also sell at the markets.
Well, let's take a look at some of your veggies
then. Definitely. So we have a lot of native plants here. This is kind of what I like to call my native herb wild side. So this is like a pawpaw tree, which is a Louisiana fruit. We have the fig tree over there. That's always a good, everyone loves a fig tree in Louisiana. This is a Celeste
step
fig.
on anything.
Yeah,
what do you harvest the figs? What do you do with it?
Yeah, we do. And this is our second fall. So you'll get one good harvest in spring, and you usually get a second harvest in fall, and you just eat them right off the tree. Let's see if we have any. They usually turn like purple. They're all still green.
Okay.
They turn purple when they're ready, and you just eat them. People make jams with them, stuff like that. But I just eat them fresh. They're so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then so we started this garden. I've been working here about a year and a half. But
at this location?
At this location.
Okay.
But this garden was started about 5 years ago. It was just parking lot. So they had to put cardboard on top. They had already taken all the topsoil away. So then I added a lot of topsoil this year with my stuff. We have good soil in Louisiana. It holds water. It grows good stuff. So it's good to mix with other stuff that you're adding, castings, your coffee grounds, your compost, your potting mix, whatever you're adding. So we did that. Everything that you can see was built on top of the ground.
So there was already a garden here. Is that what you said
so
before
it
you
was
started?
Pretty much just empty when I got here.
Okay.
But the ground was kind of built up. So it wasn't rocks when I got here.
Okay.
But the ground was built. They had a semi-compost area. The bricks were around it. It was paved off, things like that. And then we added a lot of plants, added our castings, and started making it marketable and bringing the stuff to market, having classes here, stuff like that.
How did you find a deal like this?
Gosh, well, I just got lucky, I guess. I just really got lucky. I do a lot of news stories, magazines, newspapers, whatever I can do to get my face out there is what I do. I do a lot of community work, going out planting things, just meeting a lot of people, and then people trust me, and then I get deals that work out for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're just marketing yourself.
Yeah, and myself and the business, and then showing that our business is growing, and do you want to be a part of our business? Do you want to help us grow? Do you want to help Louisiana's recycling grow? And then,
how could you say no to that?
Right. And then they get to eat out the garden.
The business
does. The business owners. Cool. So yeah, they can harvest whatever they want, or I'll harvest for them, things like that. So I make sure to grow things that they want to eat, as well as what my markets want to eat.
So then what do you take to the farmers markets? Is that over this way?
Yeah, over that way.
Okay.
So here's a lot of just natives. Here's an elderberry tree, Indian blanket flower. This is a goldenrod. The seeds are coming out right now. So this is all the seeds. We've collected a lot of seeds, but we're going to have a seed collecting class this weekend. Ooh. So we're saving those for our attendees. Lemongrass, comfrey. So we try to mix it all in.
Lots of lavender, I see.
Bee balm. And that's basil.
Oh!
Yeah, it's some kind of Thai basil, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. That must be what I'm smelling then, because I was like, that looks like lavender, but it doesn't smell like it.
Yeah. Lavender is a hard press over here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Then we have arugula. Feel free to taste anything. Some kale. I like to grow in these. I like to show people how you can have a garden in anything. So if you just have a small thing, look, you got cement blocks and a little bit of dirt, you can have a whole lettuce garden.
Absolutely.
All of the outside is just tree trunks, you know, nothing bought.
Did you get those from like the city?
Just like trees that fell down or that we sat on the side of the road or whatever, things like that.
That's awesome.
People brought them. At one point there was a huge stack of sticks, and then we had to organize them all into around all the beds or making new beds, things like that.
And you're using cardboard as walkways, I see.
Cardboard as walkways, and to kind of kill down the weeds somewhat. And then stuff still grows on top of the cardboard constantly, so it's breaking down. Then this was a bean tunnel in the summer. Now it's going to be mustard greens at the bottom. You can see they're all coming up.
Oh, yeah, right there.
So we're a little late on planting. It was so hot for so long.
Oh, this summer.
And then, yeah, so I feel like my things are a little late, but if it doesn't freeze hard, then I won't have any problems. Like all these have been frosted this week, and they were all fine.
Well, that's nice, because you don't have any, like, caterpillar tunnels or anything.
Nothing in here. So at my new property, I am building a 100-foot greenhouse.
Okay.
So I'll be able to grow things if there is a hard freeze, or things throughout this fall, for the spring, things like that, and then have my worms there too. This is my tea that I make. So it's worm casting tea. So this is the worm poop that we collected. Then you put it in these stocking bags, and then I add aerator. And then this is some comfrey leaves, because it's full of potassium. So you could like put it we use it a lot for like living mulch. So you can just cut it all and put it onto your soil, or you can add it to your tea. And I'll still just put this right onto the soil and let it die in.
And what leaves are they?
Comfrey leaves. So that's from this plant. So we have them all over. Ooh. And the leaves are full of potassium that'll add into your soil. And the roots break up hard soil. So you put it wherever you have soil that's very hard and dense, and they'll just break it up with their roots, and then you can pull it out. Then you have a nice
aerated area. So you use this tea then?
So we use that tea to water our plants, and then that's going to add us a lot of nutrients, and it also helps keep bugs off of our plants too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that so?
We also use a black soldier fly frass, a little bit of frass. So raised black soldier flies, they make a natural aroma that wards off other bugs from coming to eat. So the fly lays the eggs, then they populate that whole thing. So if it's a dead animal or garbage food or trash can, they populate the whole thing, then you can use their bodies for protein for your chickens, but the poop still has that smell. So then you mix it in with your tea and you get it on your plants. Kind of helps that.
So you raise those flies too?
Raise those flies too, but it's a little cold for them right now.
Okay.
So we don't have them right now. So
That's
here's
really
our
cool.
cabbage.
Good looking cabbage leaves.
Yeah, I'm excited. So like, see like how this is kind of getting eaten?
Oh,
this
yeah.
is telling me, okay, I need to come put some fresh tea, and it kind of really reboots and stops it from getting too crazy.
Wow. So you seem to do a mix between lined rows, but also interplanting.
I like interplanting because I think it helps with pests.
Okay.
You know, and it helps just add stuff to my soil, keep my soil living. If I don't have a green right here this second, well, I still have this mint growing right here and keeping my soil alive, and it's not just dead, you know, things like that. So we want to constantly keep our soil living and constantly have things growing. So yeah, I do like to interplant.
Very cool.
Although I'm going to do less interplanting of these next year because they were a lot.
What is it?
It's I have to look at my thing. Celosia, I think.
Okay.
But it was a good pollinator plant. The pollinators loved it. You can also eat the seed. I think the leaves are edible too. But it's really a show garden, so we like to have a lot of different things so people can see all the different variety. Coxcomb is what it's called.
Coxcomb. Oh. So you like to plant things that aren't your typical farmer's market buys.
Right, and I do like to plant things that are different because they already have peepers at the farmer's market with a million of the same things. And if I go with my thing, that maybe my carrots aren't slightly as big as the farmer who has 10 acres and been working there for 10 years,
right?
Well, I have something different that they want, you know? So that's kind of where I came in with it.
Do you have some pretty loyal customers that way?
Yeah, and since the more we bring, the more they come. They're like, oh, that was great, we're gonna come back. You know, we did sweet potatoes, we did tomatoes, we did a lot of things, and they're looking forward to our first fall. So we've already brought greens. All of my greens have been selling. This is a Japanese green on that side.
Okay.
But this is all broccoli. So that'll be broccoli, and then that's cauliflower behind you. Mm-hmm. And that was cucumbers in the summer, and this was cantaloupe during the summer.
When to plant something next? Is it just in your brain, or do you have something that you use?
have a little chart, but this
that
I'm just spawning off what I did. And this also, okay, so it was so hot during the summer. We had a drought. It was the hottest summer I've ever lived here.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
have never seen a summer that it didn't rain almost every single day, and it didn't rain not a day. And so all these big plants also helped keep my stuff shaded.
Oh.
So I had cantaloupe right here, but I had this giant horseweed right here keeping it shaded. I had the coxcomb was really fluffy, keeping all this shaded. So the leaves weren't so hot and the dirt was not losing their soil as much. The cucumbers were growing there, throwing shade. The beans throwing there, throwing shade. So that's kind of why we have these tall things around the short things. Even during the winter, we got rain recently, but it's been sparing.
Yeah.
So these things have helped keep my soil moist while it's still been so hot and so not a lot of rain.
Does your ground cover help with that too, you think?
Yeah,
with your
definitely.
Soil cover?
Keeping things covered, mulching, constantly keeping mulch or cardboard or paper on top. This shade cloth I added with this over the summer, and I kept it over because it's really been hot all winter. I mean, we're in the middle of December, but we've had one night where it was 34 degrees for a couple hours.
What's typical?
I mean, it's not untypical for it to be like this. This is normal, but
so
we
it
normally
feels
have
about
more.
like what, 60 right now?
Yeah, this is kind of normal. It could be a little colder, but we'll have some hard freezes later normally. But last year we had a hard freeze for a whole week. Ooh. That wasn't normal. You know, it's usually like a hard freeze for that night, and then you're all good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The weather's just been up and down crazy, but not a lot of rain. And that is not fun to not have rain. It's nice. If it's raining once a week or a couple times a week, you don't have to worry about anything,
right?
You know?
No, you don't have irrigation here.
So all I have is, that's how we collect our water over there, that big
off the
tank.
roof. Wow.
So we have gutters off the roof, and then it fills up that big tank, and it fills it up quick, so it's nice. And then there's a pipe that goes down underneath the parking lot to here where my tee was at.
Okay.
But that is the only spot the water comes out. So you're still walking around watering, but the shade cloth, I didn't have to water my tomatoes more than once a week.
Wow.
Because also I mix the soil with the clay soil. That clay soil holds water. You know, so we're doing, the castings is real airy, holds water. So we're building our soil to hold water, but also not to flood, you know? So, and I think we did a good job at that.
Yeah.
But I do have to walk around sometimes, water and with a pail, you know, and it would be nice if it was not, but you know, you'll get there one day.
Right, exactly.
You know? So I still love that we use only rainwater almost. And we almost got through the summer with not having to use the hose. I think we had to use it 3 times. But, you know, we did a good job with only using rain. That's a huge tank.
Did you put that in? Or was that here when you got here?
It was here before I got here.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lady who owns it, Miss Sherry, she wanted a sustainable garden because it used to flood back here.
Oh.
And they didn't want it holding water. So she was like, how can we have something that doesn't hold water? So then she decided, well, let's try to start building the ground up. Then slowly she started building the garden. And it took years and years.
And you say hold water in a negative way, like
yeah,
it was just
like
puddling.
It's literally just like knee high.
Oh,
you know,
man.
like just a whole little pond back here.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, she didn't want that anymore, and it couldn't even be used as a parking lot at that point. So
wow.
So she decided to start the garden. So then, yeah.
Very cool.
And we sell a lot of our herbs to restaurants, and then at the market we dry them.
Okay.
Because they have big, nice kitchens. Because of the appliance store.
So you get to use this little shed.
And then I also get to use this little shed. So, and I collect seeds. So this is all the seeds I've been collecting.
Oh, nice.
So that I can start my greenhouse. And then it's really a big push for everyone to plant native around here right now. So we're trying to get a lot of the nurseries are trying to do native plants and push them out to yards instead of having the regular box store plants in your yard.
Yeah.
So these are all native seeds. So I'm hoping to start all that soon. This coming month, January, I'll start in my greenhouse. And then have them ready for spring to go out into landscapers or just regular people planting.
So do you buy seeds at the moment?
I do. I have, but I'm part of a seed program that I'm looking for the castings. Here they are. It's called they're like a native plant society.
Okay.
And they helped pass seeds out. And then all the seeds so there used to be a field. You see they're building a big thing right there.
Oh yeah, all the noise in the background.
The past years, it was just a wildflower field.
Oh.
Which is sad. Everything that you see being built, it used to be prairie land, wildflower. No, so all those seeds blew over here, and then they came up. We saved them as the plant and then made sure to save the seeds so that we can bring it other places and use it
So
here.
if you see something growing that you didn't plant, you try to keep it?
I try to keep it.
That's
to
really
make
cool.
sure. If I see something growing, I'm very careful with weeding, especially when we first started working here. We're like, things blew, other people planted, let's see what's coming up.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure if you see a weed coming up, like identify it before you just pull it, because it could be a huge, nice flower in 3 months that you didn't even know, you know. So this is the worm castings.
Looks like
and this
sand.
was how I started, okay? This is my main thing. This is why people know who I am. The worms, the worm castings. People
Can I
use
touch
this.
it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wow.
And this is a little dry because it was in there. You'd want it a little more moist, but you can always add water to it.
Does it dry
It's
out like kind of
living.
how peat moss does?
It does, and then it soaks the water up.
But it
real
soaks it up because I
quick.
think with peat moss, once it's dry, like you can't ever get it back again.
No, you can't. It'll be like probably a little less living, let's say, because the microbes and bacteria might have ran out of water just like the dirt, and then they died off.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it. I should have kept like the lid. Normally I have a lid on it.
Okay.
But it still has holes, 2 holes in the top, just slight holes,
breathe.
because it has to breathe.
Yeah.
If it is not breathing, it stinks bad.
Really?
Yes.
So
and
that's
the
probably
living
a good
stuff
point.
dies. And then you'll be like, oh, she was telling the truth. It was living.
So
it's very living.
Is that, now I'm going to bring up something. Back where we're from, there are a couple companies that are doing huge composting areas, like tens of acres of just compost, and it smells bad. So would you say that if your compost smells bad and it turns you off, it probably isn't getting enough oxygen?
I would say it's for different reasons. I mean, if you're doing that much area, then you're having a lot of waste that's probably sitting out, and then you're getting that smell mixed in with not necessarily their compost piles, but maybe they have a bunch of waste sitting here waiting to go into a pile.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, if your worm bin stinks, then that is definitely a problem. Your worm bin should never stink. And your hot compost really shouldn't have a smell unless like you opened it right after you put it in. But yeah, if you're composting and it just stinks all the time, you're probably having too much food in there.
There's something wrong, or something needs to change.
Something needs to change. You're putting too much food in there if it stinks, for
Very cool.
Yeah. So this is just other greens, and then we're gonna add, this is how we do our little bok chow in these little boxes, and then I'm gonna go and plant them in. We sell the bok chow is a really good sell for me because no one else does that. It's frost hardy. Some of them are freeze hardy even.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. These greens are good. No one else has these greens. So
and those are delicious.
So good.
Those are
They're
so
tender,
good.
and you know, people are looking for different stuff to add to their diets. People love, you know, juicing things.
Yeah.
And then they get to come here and they get to learn, oh, I can plant this in my garden right now. Some people think fall gardening is like nothing. Fall gardening is the best time to garden, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not so hot. There's not as many bugs. The bugs are crazy in the summer. They come from everywhere. It's not just Louisiana bugs. It's invasive bugs. It's all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in the fall, there's not as many bugs, and it's a lot easier, and there's, you know, you don't have to water as much because it's not so hot. There's just endless amount of reasons why fall gardening is superior to spring gardening.
So how do you enjoy, I know that this isn't your only place, but how do you feel about being somewhere that maybe you don't own, like you're on someone else's property? How do you feel about that?
Sometimes it's scary, you know, to think it could just disappear in a second.
Are you on a lease?
But yes.
Okay.
But you know, you never know what could happen.
Right.
So, but I'm grateful to have found the area, to found the you know, the people that I found it with, and you know, I wouldn't have been able to do all this at my house without the help that I've gotten, you know, to use this area and to use the tools that they have and things like that. So, you know, very grateful. I think opening up your land, if you're not using it, opening up to people who need to farm or need to have a business idea, that's a great way to do it. You know? Yeah.
That's
because there's just land that could just be sitting there unused, and if you see someone who has, you know, a good business coming up, they're growing already at their home or they're growing somewhere else, give them that opportunity because it's worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about for growers? Do you think that it's okay to start really small? Like, because you said I'm either going to school or I'm starting my own business, and I want to work for myself. I want to start my own business. But you were literally in your backyard, still are.
Still am.
But I think that sometimes there's this push to go bigger.
Yeah, no, being small is, you know, the perfect place to start. If you start too big, you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I really had the privilege of starting so small, with just starting with just the worm poop is what I started. Just the worm poop in a shed, a 10 by 10 shed in my backyard, to getting the land next to my yard, to, you know, expanding there, to getting this part, to getting the 6 acres, you know? So I think it's important to know that you can start small. You can start very small and grow small amounts or big amounts in a small area with anything. There's lots of different types of, you know, animals that bugs that people look into, bug farming, plant farming. There's so many different things you can do in a small backyard area.
Yeah. So you started in your backyard in a 10 by 10 shed.
Yep, in a 10 by 10 shed is all I had with the worms.
And we don't have to put this in if you don't want to, but financially, how did you make that work?
So I just ended up having like a few $1,000s for myself. And I said, well, I knew I was going to have the money. So I said, I have this money and I'm going to use it to start my business. So I said, I'm going to buy the first thing. I need a shed. Here it is. I have the money to buy a shed. Let's buy a shed and worms. So I bought the shed and worms. And then I just slowly started. And then picking up waste. People don't realize, like, I'm making money from trash. So, like, that's a big thing. Picking up people's waste. People are throwing away so many good things, not just food and paper, other things. So I was like, people are throwing away so many good things.
And they're paying to throw those away. And you're like, I'll just take it for free.
I'll take it for free.
That's awesome.
So that's really how I made it work. Doing things for my time was free time. Thinking that in my head. If I'm doing it, it's free. Yeah. For me. Right. I'm not putting out money to do it. I had the privilege of being able to stay home for that year. After I had my third baby. Because my husband, he actually works in the oil field here. So we use oil field money to try to go organic.
Well, that's a cute little dichotomy.
Like, you know, you got to do it some kind of way. So, you know, we're working on both sides of the aisle sometimes. But, you know, if you're putting your money towards the good, then that's what really matters. Yeah. So starting small, if that's all you can do, then that's what you should do. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm glad that I started small. I would never be, you know, this way. I only have about 6 hours of a day that I can really put in a lot of work somewhere. So like it's really, I'm time pressed.
But when you get a woman on a mission,
and I will come in here and then I'll come at night too. Like headlight on and I'll be clipping my greens. Like, I'm not afraid to work at night.
Now, is this a safe area to do that?
Oh yeah, this is. Yeah, it is a safe area.
I don't think you'd put yourself in harm's way, but you just gotta ask.
I mean, you always have to be careful. I have my little pepper spray.
There you go.
In my pocket. But yeah, I have my kids. My kids, especially my youngest, is always here. They'll play Native Americans. They like to play. And like run.
Well, I mean, with these kind of growing through the fence, it feels like you're in the jungle a little bit.
It feels like you're in the woods, and they get like bamboo, and then they run through the garden. They'll plant things. You know, sometimes they're interested, sometimes they're not.
Yeah,
but
that's kids.
You know how it goes.
Yeah,
with kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, if I didn't have another job, if I didn't have this job, I wouldn't be able to be as present in my kids' lives. The whole point.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
I love it.
And I do have to remind myself that sometimes. The whole point was for you to be present in your life, not get caught up, which I love building a business. You know, that's so fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You have an awesome, awesome place here. I am so glad that we found you. And if anybody else is in the area, they can find you through the farmer's market, your website.
wormladyrecycles.com. And anyone in US too. I can ship herbs. I can't ship castings or worms because we have red ants down here. And those are invasive well, they're not even supposed to be here. So you don't want them, trust me. That is the bane of my existence. But yeah, so we're not allowed to ship any dirt anywhere unless it's treated, and I don't want to treat my dirt because then it's like...
Then you killed everything you worked for.
But I can do it in the South states. In the Gulf states, I can ship to anywhere. If you already have red ants, I can ship to you. So my stuff is not full of red ants, but it's just a provision that the government puts on you. So yeah, but wormladyrecycles.com, Facebook, Worm Lady Recycles, Instagram, Worm Lady Recycles, TikTok, Worm Lady Recycles. I appreciate all followers. We like to do a lot of community work, reach out. We like to plant things in the wild. You know, we hunt, we fish, we live sustainably, and that's what we're trying to get the word out about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will put all of those links in the description, along with anything else that you might want to share as far as resources go. But thank you so much for letting me come out here. This has been just so cool. So I'm excited
thank you for coming.
I'm excited to see everything else that you get to do in the future.
Yes.
And
keep a lookout.
Absolutely. Thanks, Taylor.
Okay, thanks.